my channel. Thank you all for your comments, which I try to answer as best as I can in the comments box about the ADHD thingy. Yes, I think I mentioned that I did phone up on Monday. I can't remember if I said that on the camera, but I did phone them up on Monday after I sent the email, and I did manage to speak to a nice secretary. No, I did mention that, didn't I? I'm sure I mentioned that in the video. So now, yeah, I did. So I'm now just waiting to find out about what's going on with that. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about something today, which I just thought was very interesting. That's something that arose recently, because I'm just interested to know really what you think, and if any of you have experienced this yourself. Anyway, so my dad recently came into contact with an acquaintance of his that he hasn't seen for a long time. Someone who used to work at a cafe that we used to visit a lot weekly when I was growing up, when I was a child. This person he hadn't seen for like you know, a really long time, and he just like said randomly, oh, you know, like Anna, myself, is autistic, and you know, as you do, he just told her, you know, I'm autistic. And do you know what she said, which was really interesting? She said, I'm not surprised, she said. That doesn't surprise me at all. I always thought she was autistic. There was something, I noticed there was something different about her. So basically, yeah, it was just really interesting that she said that. So this is someone that used to know me when I was a kid. And I haven't seen her, when was the last time? Must have been maybe, I don't know, maybe when I was a sort of young teenager, might have been the last time I saw her. But she knew me quite well when I was a kid, because, as I say, we went to this cafe a lot, so she knew me when I was a kid. And yeah, that was just very interesting that she said that. That she said, I'm not surprised, I always thought she was. Like, it wasn't like something, you know, yeah, it's just funny and interesting. So I'm sort of wondering now, like, what she noticed that made her think that made her just, you know, assume that I was, sort of thing. So yeah, let me know what you think. It's just something I wanted to mention, because because this isn't the first time this has happened. Because when my mum was alive, and an ex-teacher, a primary school teacher, came into the place where she worked, and my mum said, or she asked after me, and my mum said, just mentioned the fact I'm autistic, and she just went, yeah, I know. Like, again, yeah, and no one else had told her either, so yeah, that was interesting. And so yeah, it makes me wonder. So I guess it's this is the second time this has happened. Okay, this time the first time when the teacher went, yeah, I know, this time the person, I always thought she was, kind of thing, like it didn't surprise her. So yeah, I just think that's very interesting. And it makes me wonder whether, like, these people, you know, like teachers as well, teachers and things, kind of thought it without saying, because people often can think things without saying it, like maybe they're worried about bringing it up or something, as it can be quite a sensitive topic. You know, like, it's not, like, if you think someone's autistic or something, you know, like a child's autistic or whatever, it might be quite hard or sensitive topic to bring up and to say to their parents, I think your child's autistic, because you don't know the context. You know, you might not want to potentially hurt someone's feelings. Not that there's anything to hurt, but, you know, like, it's a difficult subject, you know, like bringing something up like that, when you might not necessarily know how it's going to be taken. But yeah, it's just really interesting. But yeah, as I say, so it does make me wonder how many other people who met me as a child just thought I was autistic and didn't say anything. in a way, I find it quite validating. I find it validating in a weird way because it kind of like shows that, I don't know, like if someone were to like say no, she can't be, that I find that really offensive. So in a way, I find it quite validating when people say, yeah, I thought she always was, or it's no surprise, because it kind of like confirms my what's the word for it? Like, it's not like I need confirmation. I've already been diagnosed, but I don't know. I sort of find it in a way reassuring. You know, like maybe it's that kind of like gaslighting thing going on where you sometimes, you know, you sort of doubt yourself. You think, oh, you know, mate, you know, like, I know I'm autistic. Like, I've been diagnosed, but you know what I mean. It's like when other people notice it. In a way, now I actually find it quite validating, which is weird because, yeah, when I was a teenager and I was like really in denial and stuff. I would have hated that, like, but now I actually find it validating. Yeah, I guess it shows that, like, yeah, it's just interesting that she just said, yeah, I always thought she was, like, which is interesting that other people thought that as well. Like, my parents thought I was for ages before I got diagnosed anyway, but it's interesting that lots of other people, like, noticed it in me. Not lots of other people, sorry, what am I saying? 2 other people, but, yeah, so I don't know how many other people noticed it in me, but it makes me wonder whether other people would have also noticed it in me as well. So yeah, do let me know what you think about that. As I say, it's just I just found it fascinating that she said that. Yeah, I always thought she was. I just find that quite a fascinating thing that someone could have said that. Bearing in mind she hasn't met me as an adult. The last time she met me was when I was a young teenager, so this would have been before we even knew about autism and before I had a diagnosis as well. Yeah, it's just really interesting. It does make me wonder what she noticed about me though, actually, because she said I thought there was something different about her, so it just makes me wonder what she noticed that made her think that. You know, so maybe, yeah, it's just interesting anyway. Yeah, but particularly as, you know, she didn't know me like really well. I mean, this was just someone who used to work at a cafe we went to, so she was only an acquaintance. She didn't know me like really well, so it must have been some vibe maybe I was giving off that she picked up and just, you know, this is just a lay person who worked at a cafe, but she obviously noticed and just like thought I was autistic, which is just interesting. Yeah. Because I always thought I was quite a subtle case, but maybe I'm not as subtle as I think. maybe other people do detect it. Because as I say, like, people don't always say things, do they? People want to be polite. People often don't always say exactly what they're thinking, you know, so you don't exactly know what someone's thinking, do you? You know, people don't always say these things because they don't want to hurt someone's feelings, I guess. Potentially hurt someone's feelings. So like I say, yeah, just makes me wonder how many other people in my past might have thought that about me, and maybe teachers at school, because like I said, the teacher who my mum said about me said, yeah, I know, like it wasn't any big news to her, even though no one else had told her, which is interesting as well. And she was my year 1 teacher who called me an enigma, and this was back in the early 90s. Called me an enigma because she didn't understand me. But the fact she said when my mum said about me being autistic, yeah, I know, would also suggest to me that she was maybe thinking something in her head, maybe thinking along those lines and just didn't want to mention it. Bearing in mind this was in the 90s. And there wasn't so much information about autism now, so. But yes, very interesting information. Anyway, I was very interested when my dad said it. I was like, oh, that's just fascinating, you know. Yeah, just very interesting. But let me know what you think anyway. So that's the reason I just wanted to talk about it. So I just thought it was a very interesting observation. Yeah, and I do find it quite validating, as I say, sort of weirdly. I find it far more validating as someone discounting my autism, I think, because in a way I quite like knowing that, you know, maybe, I know it's a bit ableist, but you do sometimes sort of wonder, is it all my head, even though I know it's not all my head. So in a way, when someone that knew you as a kid isn't surprised or whatever, it kind of just validates my diagnosis in a weird way. Even I shouldn't need validation, but you know what I mean. It is kind of quite. I find it quite validating. So yeah. So anyway. So thank you for watching.